Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
A water crisis in Benton Harbor. You can see the bottled water being handed out, lines as long as the eye can see. What is being done right now to help this community? I'm Hank Winchester. Help Me Hank, live tonight.
Held captive in Haiti, an 8-figure ransom is now being demanded for the release of those American missionaries, and 5 of them are from right here in Michigan.
Detroit's police chief calling it horrific. The manhunt is on for the shooters who killed 2 Detroit parents with a 9-month-old baby in the car. We're glad you're with us for Local 4 News at 5. Off the top this afternoon, police are calling the shooting last night a targeted hit.
And that comes as we're getting a new look at clearer security camera video of the moments leading up to that shooting. Sean Lay is live tonight. And Sean, from what I understand, they were just sitting in the car.
Exactly. We continue to uncover disturbing details about all of this, Kimberly, including this young mom sitting in the passenger seat of the car holding her 9-month-old baby boy right to her. Right through the alley here, 2 gunmen rushed up to the car on either side, fired into the car. The young mom was killed. The boy's young father was also killed. Somehow, that little boy was not hit. He's okay. He's with his grandmother tonight. All of this taking place right here in front of 8 different cameras, giving us a more clear look of who police are after right now.
The offenders came from the north. Both of them were armed with handguns, gun in hand, ran up to the vehicle, directly to the vehicle, and fired shots into the vehicle.
Detroit Homicide Commander Mike McGinnis walking us through new, more clear video capturing what police are calling a shocking, targeted hit. 2 young men dressed in dark clothing rushing up to a car and opening fire multiple times. A young father, Benton Lindsay, and his girlfriend, Marche Nash, both 22, were killed. Marche was holding the couple's 9-month-old son in her arms. Somehow those shots did not hit that baby boy, but did take away his parents forever.
You're a kid growing up without your parents. That in and of itself is going to bring trauma to you. It's just horrific. I mean, it's just no words for it. I can't even imagine what the families are going through.
Police were seen comforting that little boy after the shooting. Police and community members now pleading for anyone who knows these gunmen to call Crime Stoppers.
Someone knows. Someone always knows. It's the behavior that is unacceptable, and we cannot accept it anymore.
You got 2 families that have to bury 2 22-year-olds. Now you've got a 9-month-old who is out here who has to be raised by the parents and at some point told the story of what happened.
Back here live just now, community members coming up with these freshly printed wanted posters that do have some clear images, perhaps of one face of one of these gunmen. Coming up at 6 o'clock, I speak to family members who are giving us a look into the lives that were lost here. And each time we uncover some new details, guys, this story just gets worse. Back to you.
Okay, and Sean, before you go, the couple also had an infant daughter as well as the son.
That's correct. They have a 1-month-old daughter who was born prematurely. Today is her 1 month exactly. She's still in the hospital, so she doesn't have her mom and dad. Also, the dad in this case, Lindsay, he has a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old in addition to the 2 other children who now don't have a father.
Just awful. All right, Sean, thanks.
Well, right now in the city of Benton Harbor, residents cannot go to the faucet and get a glass of water. A lead crisis that's slowly been unfolding for years has people relying on bottled water until it can get fixed, and they're waiting in long lines to get that. Today, Governor Whitmer was in Benton Harbor, and so was our consumer investigator Hank Winchester, and Hank is live there. City leaders have declared a state of emergency over this just now, Hank.
They did, Devin, today. That goes into effect. I'll tell you what, walking through this city, talking with the people, it's haunting. It takes me right back to Flint 5 or 6 years ago. This is the thing, everybody in town trying to get their hands on bottled water. We're going to make sure this case gets to a family in need. The people in this community, they want 2 things. They want help from the state, and they want answers. This is Benton Harbor today. These lines are crazy. I mean,
well, yeah. Hey, we got to get the water to the people some way or another. Yeah. So this is the right way of how we got it set up.
A city like Flint that was already down on its luck, now dealing with a major lead water crisis.
To replace all lead service lines is a Mount Everest of a job. So it's going to take a all hands on deck, whole government approach.
Today, news that an emergency declaration just declared, and the governor making a surprise visit here early this morning after we asked her about the ongoing problems here just yesterday. They've been complaining about the situation for a couple of years. Should more have been done sooner on this problem?
We are delivering water. We're working incredibly hard to replace the pipes.
The water issues first exposed here almost 3 years ago. This woman told me she remembers how the water affected her mother's health.
She was going to the doctor. Her skin was having problems, and she got real sick. And the people were saying that the water was okay, but the minute I got her bottled water, she seemed to get better.
When I see a scene like this one, I feel like I'm right back in Flint 5 years ago. This is one of the water distribution sites here in Benton Harbor, and every day the lines are long and the need is great.
I come down here, I get my water, I cook with it, I clean with it. Basically everything but bath in it.
The state now aggressively working to fix the lead problem, putting millions towards lead pipe removal. But many worry about the damage that's already been done, the damage we can't see. Back out here live, here's another strange similarity to what we saw play out in Flint. Even though everyone in this community has been told, don't drink the water, don't cook with the water, they're still paying their monthly water bills. Now, the mayor today came out and said that he's working to resolve that situation, taking some notes from what played out in Flint, said that extra money is going to be allocated to help make sure that people don't have to pay for water when they can't use the water. We're live here tonight in Benton Harbor. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank.
Boy, oh boy. So, Hank, I know the question there that everybody's wants answered now is when does the removal of these lead pipes get underway? Do they know yet?
And Devin, you'll remember with Flint, it took a while, but
right.
Here's the most important thing. A lot of the money has already been secured, and early on in Flint, it was the battle over the money that took so long. So the good news here in Benton Harbor is the money is there. They just have to get shovels in the ground.
That helps, and we know that even once you get started, it's going to take time. Now, you, of course, remember, Hank spent extensive time covering the water crisis in Flint, and in a post today on clickondetroit.com, he writes about the similarities that he saw today in his visit to Benton Harbor. You can check that out on the Help Me Hank page at Click on Detroit.
A woman is now charged in connection with a hit-and-run crash that killed 2 Detroit mothers. 25-year-old Jasmine Ansley turned herself into police Monday. Police say Brittany Jones and Erica Yancey were hit Saturday morning by a Kia Soul while crossing Schaefer Highway. Prosecutors say Ansley did not stop at the scene. They say she drove to a nearby gas station and removed items from the car. She's charged with failure to stop at the scene and tampering with evidence. All right, sun and 70s today, making for a pretty perfect fall day here in Metro Detroit.
It's gorgeous, but as we approach midweek, going to see a few changes. Here's Paul with more on that. Paul?
Yeah, the real Devin and I are on a golf course right now. You're seeing computer-generated images
That's right.
right now. Yeah, look at this. It's just gorgeous. Blue sky, high clouds, just a pretty sky out there. Temps still in the low 70s. The wind is not too bad, a little breezy in a couple of spots, but when it's mild, breezy's okay. This is a great October day. All right, you can see here we have a lot of clear sky and then some of these wispy clouds coming through. So you'll see a batch of these come through. A couple, 3 hours, they're past, then you get back to more clear sky, and it's going to be a quiet night ahead, and that's pretty much what it's going to be with those high clouds passing through from time to time. So basically falling quickly through the 60s tonight, so it's going to be a quick cool down. And as far as weather impacts, the one day with real impact is going to be Thursday, really late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning with some thunderstorms and maybe some showers later Thursday. But other than that, things are going to quiet down again. We'll talk more about the change coming our way in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, Paul. As Americans line up to get boosters, a lot of people are wondering if they can get a different vaccine for that shot than maybe their first one or two.
This is especially true for people who receive the single-dose J&J shot, who are now interested in one of the mRNA vaccines. Dr. McGeorge is here with news that the FDA is likely to approve so-called these mix-and-match combinations. Dr. McGeorge.
Yeah, Kimberly and Evan. So both the New York Times and Washington Post are reporting that soon the FDA is expected to approve use of different combinations of booster shots, regardless of which vaccine a person received initially. Now, this is after data on an ongoing NIH study of mixing and matching initial vaccines and boosters was presented at last week's FDA Vaccine Advisory Panel meeting. Whether a matter of convenience, an unexpected reaction to their first vaccines, or concerns over the coverage their initial vaccine may have produced, many people want to know if it's okay to get a different vaccine for a booster. The NIH has an ongoing study to at least answer whether doing that is safe and whether it produces a good immune response.
And the questions are, can one vaccine be used as a boost to a different vaccine?
So far, the answer to both of those questions appears to be yes. In the study, groups of people who received either both doses of the Pfizer or Moderna mRNA vaccines or the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine were then given one of the three vaccines as a booster after 12 weeks. After 14 days, antibody responses were tested in each of the groups.
The heterologous had as good or higher neutralizing antibodies following the boost at day 15.
Translation: if you received a different booster shot than your original vaccine, your level of antibodies went at least as high or higher than if you received a boost of your original vaccine. Although the study was not designed to compare responses between groups, the most pronounced response was in people who initially received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, followed by a Moderna booster. Their neutralizing antibodies increased 76-fold, partially because their antibody levels started lower to begin with. But even for people who received the Pfizer vaccine followed by a Moderna boost, the response was 32-fold. Now, it's important to note, the Moderna boosts given in this study were the full-dose shot, not the half-dose Moderna booster being considered by the FDA. Now, as far as safety for any of the combinations of an initial vaccine and different booster,
and there were no significant safety concerns identified within this short time period.
Now, right now, there is no official authorization to administer a different booster from the original vaccine. Now, I know some people are getting different shots by simply not telling the truth about which vaccine that they received originally, but that creates the problem that you'll then need two different vaccine cards. FDA authorization will make the process legitimate and allow for more flexibility. Back to you.
All right, Frank. A program to help Detroiters with leaky roofs has been overwhelmed with applications.
New tonight, how it's exposing a major issue and how the city plans to address the nearly 10,000 people expected to apply.
Also, they just couldn't get the driver to stop. Ahead at 5, new video of a chase involving Michigan State Police and a Tesla. Priya.
We're learning new information about the missionaries kidnapped in Haiti. 5 are from Western Michigan. Tonight, hear what the minister of the Michigan Church has to say.